before we start, hit that subscribe button, because after hearing what happened behind these walls, you'll never think about silence the same way again. It begins at dawn. The sun rises over Colorado desert, brushing against the gray concrete walls of the most secure prison on Earth, ADX Florence. They call it the Alcatraz of the Rockies, but even that name feels too soft. This isn't just a prison. It's a tomb for the living. Every door is steel. Every sound echoes. Every man inside has vanished from the world. At 6 a.m., the heavy iron doors of Cell B 213 slide open just enough to let in a metal food tray. Inside sits inmate Mark Delaney, once a high-profile hitman for a crime syndicate that collapsed after his arrest. Now, he's nothing more than a number, 56345-029. Delaney hasn't spoken to another human in 11 years. He's allowed 1 hour of recreation each day, alone in a concrete cage the size of a walk-in closet. The other 23 hours, locked in a cell so soundproofed he can hear his own heartbeat. No windows, no conversation, no contact. Just him and his thoughts. But on this morning, something is different. As the slot closes and the guard walks away, Delaney freezes. From the vent above his bed, he hears tapping. Soft, rhythmic, deliberate. 3 taps. Pause. 2 taps. He sits up. It's Morse code, something he learned in his youth. But inmates here can't communicate. Every vent, every wall, every floor is designed to stop that. Still, he listens. The tapping comes again, faster this time. Then it stops. Silence returns, heavy and suffocating. At the same time, Agent Sarah Lowell, a federal psychologist assigned to evaluate inmate mental stability, walks through the security gates of ADX for her first day on site. She's heard the rumors. Guards who quit after hearing phantom voices, inmates who scratch at their walls until their hands bleed, men who beg for noise just to feel alive. Her assignment? Evaluate Mark Delaney, whose mental state has been flagged as unstable but lucid. The last psychologist who interviewed him requested immediate transfer afterward, then resigned a week later. When Lowell reaches his cell, she notices something unsettling. On the concrete wall near Delaney's bunk, etched faintly with a plastic spoon, are the words, "They're still here." "Who's still here?" she asked during the interview, her voice steady but curious. Delaney stares at her with eyes that look both awake and dead. "They talk," he whispers, "not with mouths. Through the vents, through the hum in the walls. You hear it if you stay long enough." Lowell notes signs of severe sensory deprivation, auditory hallucinations, possible delusional disorder. Yet something about his calm tone feels real, controlled, too precise. "Mark," she says quietly, "what happens if you answer back?" He smiles faintly. "That's how they find you." By noon, she's back in the observation room, reviewing recordings from the surveillance feed. The footage shows Delaney sitting perfectly still on his bed for hours, eyes fixed on the vent. No movement, no talking, just waiting. Then, at exactly 2:14 p.m., his lips move. No sound, no words, but movement. He's speaking to someone or something, in silence. The feed flickers. The audio distorts. When the screen clears, he's gone. Not out of the room, but off the camera. The lens shows only the empty bed and a flickering light. Lowell rushes to the control center. The guards insist no one entered or left his cell. It's impossible, they say. But when she demands to check the room herself, they hesitate. Finally, they open the door. Delaney is sitting in the corner, whispering softly to the wall. A single phrase, over and over. "It's your turn now." Lowell freezes. On the wall beside him, etched deepened before, are new words. 24 hours. The meaning isn't clear. Not yet. But in ADX Florence, nothing happens without purpose. And whatever was starting had already begun. The desert night swallows the light outside ADX Florence. Inside, everything remains still, almost too still. No footsteps, no talking, no alarms. Just a low electric hum of the surveillance system that watches every inmate, every second, every breath. 24 hours, Mark Delaney had said. Those words keep looping in Dr. Sarah Lowell's mind as she sits alone in the observation room, staring at the video feed from cell B 213. Delaney is sitting on his bed again, motionless, staring at the corner as if listening to someone speak. The timestamp reads 1:47 a.m. Lowell rubs her temples, exhaustion creeping in. She hasn't left the control center in hours, afraid to miss whatever is coming. When she rewinds the footage from earlier that evening, she notices something she didn't before. Just after the guards left Delaney's cell, the audio picked up a faint tone, almost imperceptible, like a vibration beneath the static. Then a whisper, 3 words. He's not alone. Lowell's heart stutters. She boosts the audio gain. The whisper grows clearer, layered, overlapping, as if multiple voices are speaking in perfect unison. But the sound isn't coming from Delaney. It's coming to him. Through the vent. The next morning, the warden, Robert Klein, storms into the observation room. His face is pale, his tone clipped. Dr. Lowell, you weren't authorized to run surveillance past midnight. You could compromise. Compromise what? She interrupts sharply. I heard something in his cell. Voices. Klein exhales through his nose, his jaw tightening. You're not the first to claim that. But I'll warn you, Doctor, this place feeds on imagination. Don't let it get to you. He turns to leave, but not before muttering something under his breath. Delaney's been in isolation for 11 years. Yet last week, he requested 2 food trays. Lowell's brow furrows. 2. Yeah. When we asked why, he said he wasn't eating alone anymore. At noon, she enters the cell block for her next session. The temperature drops as she walks past rows of identical gray doors, each holding men so dangerous they'll never breathe free air again. But when she reaches Delaney's cell, a guard stops her. Wait here, he says. We had an incident overnight. The steel door unlocks with a hiss. Inside, Delaney is sitting cross-legged on the floor, facing the wall. On the concrete in front of him are dozens of scratches, tiny, deliberate carvings that form a spiral pattern leading toward the vent. Lowell steps closer. The scratches form letters, uneven, desperate. Listen closely. She kneels down, her pulse hammering in her ears. Mark, who's talking to you? He doesn't turn. You can hear them now too, can't you? His voice is soft, almost kind. Once you listen long enough, they find a way in, through the silence, through your heartbeat. Lowell stiffens. Mark, there's no one in that vent. You know that. He finally turns, his eyes glinting with something she can't name. Terror, maybe, or clarity. They said you'd come, he murmurs. You're next in the chain. That night, she returns to her hotel room in Florence, Colorado. She tries to sleep, but the silence feels heavier than usual. Her phone buzzes, an alert from the prison security system. Motion detected in cell B 213. She opens a feed. Delaney isn't moving, but something else is. The vent above his bed, it's breathing. The metal flexes slightly as if air or something unseen is pushing from the other side. Then, for just a second, the camera feed distorts again. A face flickers in the static. Not Delaney's, someone else's. Cold eyes, a grin, gone in a flash. Lowell gasps, grabbing her phone. She replays the footage. Nothing. The system log shows no anomaly. But as she sets the phone down, she hears it, faint, inside her room. Tap, tap, tap. 3 taps. Pause. 2 taps. Her chest tightens. It's the same rhythm Delaney heard from his vent. She moves closer to the wall. The tapping grows louder, more deliberate. She whispers, "Who's there?" And in the silence that follows, a man's voice answers through the plaster. Calm, patient, and horribly familiar. 24 hours. Lowell freezes, her mind spiraling between disbelief and dread. She looks at the clock. The second hand ticks past midnight. 24 hours from now, something will happen. Something that no one at ADX Florence will be able to explain. And for the first time, Dr. Sarah Lowell finally understands what Delaney meant. In ADX, the real torture isn't isolation. It's the moment when the silence finally starts talking back. The clock reads 11:59 p.m. Exactly 24 hours since Dr. Sarah Lowell first entered ADX Florence to evaluate Mark Delaney, and everything she believed about sanity, silence, and control has begun to collapse. The vent above her hotel bed continues to hum with a low mechanical buzz, though she's unplugged every device in the room. She hasn't slept. She hasn't eaten. The words still echo in her head like a curse. 24 hours. At 12 a.m., the hotel lights flicker once, then go dark. For a second, the only illumination comes from her laptop screen. Still pause on the video feed from Delaney's cell. He hasn't moved since yesterday. But something feels wrong. The timestamp isn't updating. It's stuck, frozen at the exact second she last checked, 11:47 p.m. She hits refresh. The screen glitches, and then it updates. The timestamp jumps forward 1 minute, but the cell is empty. Delaney is gone. By dawn, ADX Florence goes into full lockdown. Armed guards flood the corridors, their boots echoing off the concrete walls. The warden's voice cracks through the radio system. Repeat, all units secure D-Wing. Inmate Delaney unaccounted for. The impossible has happened. A prisoner vanishing from the world's most secure prison. No tunnel, no breach, no trace. When Sarah arrives at the facility, the guards stop her at the main gate. Dr. Lowell, we're under investigation. You can't be here. But she holds up her badge. He said I was next in the chain. If he's gone, I need to know where he went. After a tense moment, they let her through. Inside, chaos reigns. Every door, camera, and sensor is being checked. In the control room, a tech shows her the surveillance playback. Delaney's cell at 3:04 a.m. shows movement, not him, but his shadow. It rises, stands, and walks toward the vent. The real Delaney sits motionless on the bed, eyes open, mouth moving in silent words. Then the feed cuts out. When it returns, the bed is empty, and on the wall, scrawled in a shaky hand, are the words, "Now you understand." By afternoon, Sarah can't tell what's real anymore. Every sound in the facility feels amplified. Every shadow seems to move when she isn't looking. She locks herself in the observation room and replays her audio notes from the previous day. But there's something new layered beneath her own voice, a faint whisper. At first, it's unintelligible. Then it becomes clear. "Dr. Lowell, it's your turn." She jerks back from the recorder. Panic grips her chest. She hits stop, but the whisper continues even with the device unplugged. From the vent above her head, she bolts out of the room, running down the hallway. The silence of ADX presses in on her, heavy, suffocating. Then she sees it. The door to cell B 213 is wide open. Inside, the cell looks identical to how Delaney left it. Except now, there's a single tray on the floor. Fresh food, steam still rising. And next to it, her name written in condensation on the stainless steel wall. Sarah. She backs away slowly, her breathing ragged. Behind her, a low, rhythmic tapping begins again, that same pattern. 3 taps. Pause. 2 taps. Her eyes dart to the vent. The metal vibrates, like something alive behind it. Then the whisper comes. You listen too long. Hours later, the guards find the observation room empty. The lights are on. The monitors display static. A single folder sits on the desk. Sarah Lowell's case notes. The final page reads only one line, scrawled in uneven handwriting. He was never in the cell. He was in the silence. They checked the logs. No sign of her leaving the building. No fingerprints on the door handle. Only one anomaly. The vent in cell B, 213 now emits faint breathing sounds whenever the power flickers. Weeks pass. The investigation goes nowhere. The Bureau of Prisons issues a formal statement. No inmate escaped. No staff member is missing. All systems are functional. But among the guards, whispers spread. At night, some swear they hear a woman's voice echo through the ducts, calm, controlled, familiar, repeating the same words Delaney once spoke. 24 hours. And when the guards turn off the lights, some say they can still see shadows moving behind the walls. Proof that in ADX Florence, even silence keeps its prisoners. If you think this story was intense, you're not ready for the next one. Hit subscribe. And remember, some stories don't end where they're supposed to.